Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday sa lahat. Baka may mga hindi pa tapos kumain dyan. Sige lang. 1 hour naman ako dito. Tapusin niyo muna yung kinakain niyo. Hi, Delmarie. Okay, sa mga hindi nakakilala sa akin, ako si Kay, Teacher Kay. Ako ay isang Certified Speech-Language Pathologist. Today, nagla-livestream ako dito sa Facebook tsaka sa YouTube sabay. So, kung saan mas convenient sa inyo, pwede kayo doon sumama sa discussions. Hello, Nina. Masaya akong nandito ka. Thank you for being here. Hello, Chris Nelly. Hello. So, may mga nakita akong mga taong familiar na sa akin yung names. So, sa mga hindi pa nakaka-attend ng ganito natin, ng ating libreng konsulta, i-type nyo lang po ano yung concern nyo at kung ilang taon kayo o yung anak ninyong may concern. Hello, Miracle. Hello, Tony. Have a blessed Sunday also. Hi, Corinne. Happy Sunday. Hello, Odessa. Charmaine. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Carl. Hi, Novelin. Lee. Marie Antoinette, hello from Kuwait. Resan, ang clinic po na pinapasukan ko ay sa BGC. Ang pangalan po nito ay Kids in Motion. Nasa Bonifacio Prime po yung building namin doon. Hello, Lane Mercado. Hello, Liam. Bobby from Batangas. Hello. Hello, Charmaine. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Riza. First time kong makaabot ng live pero nagpa-follow. Nice to see your name. Thank you. Hello, Maricel. Ayan, Mary Jean has the first question today. Ang language disorder po ba ay makakapagsalita pa? Turning 7 years old, January 2023. Okay, so simulan ko na po dyan sa question na yan. But also, hello sa mga nasa YouTube. Hello, Glenette. And hello, Shella. Hello, guys. So, ang tanong ay, kung may language disorder ba ay makakapagsalita pa? Ang aking sagot muna is, ang learning po natin ay lifelong. Kahit speech delay yan or speech language disorder, habang buhay, meron pa tayong chance na matutunang makapagsalita. Except na nga lang kung meron tayong anatomical problem. Anatomical meaning, nasa katawan na po natin yung pagkukulang kung bakit hindi makapag-produce ng speech sounds or makapagsalita, speaking. Some of these concerns na baka hindi na makapagsalita talaga ay, kunyari, there's something wrong with the vocal cords. Ang vocal cords ang responsible para nakakamake tayo ng sounds that we use for talking or speaking. Kung meron pong problema ang ating vocal cords, and unless po siguro there is some reconstructive surgery for that, yun po yung mga cases na mahihirapan na po tayo sigurong makakita na makapagsalita pa ito. But still, may rehab pa rin naman. So, ayokong magsalita ng tapos. But yes, dahil yung concern mo is 7 years old yung anak mo at sinabi mong may language disorder, of course, meron po tayong pag-asang makapagsalita pa yung anak ninyo. Depende na lang po sa nagko-cause ng mga difficulties niya. Bakit kaya siya nahihirapan? Yun ang una nating kailangan maintindihan. At kung parang nasubukan mo na, inobserbahan mo na lahat at hindi mo pa rin maintindihan bakit hindi siya nakakapagsalita, kaya na po kailangan po nating magpatingin sa isang professional para po yung mga mas nakakaalam na pag-aralan ng mga language disorders ay mabibigyan tayo at nung bata ng specific na tulong para mas bumilis yung maaaring progress niya. Hello to George, Zenitha, Ayla. Wait lang ha, isa-isahin ko lang po kayo. So, also, balik tayo ng konti doon sa mga hindi ko pa naha-hi today. So, na-hi ko na yan. So, I hope that answers your question, by the way, Mary Jean. Hi, Kim. Hello, MJ. Hello, Linmers. Hello, MM. Happy Sunday also. Hello, Ochi, Charmaine, Jovi, Julie Kitts, MC Mori from Clark, Pampanga. Hi, Danica. Hi, Elma. Sadie. And hello from Davao, from Jovi Ann. Hello, guys. Si Shella pala from YouTube is watching from Winnipeg, Canada. Hello, MRJ. Um, Okay, here's our second concern is 3 years old na at nagsasalita na pero not conversational. So here are some tips para kapag nagsasalita na siya, pwede nating ma-turn into conversation. But ang dami-daming aspect ng conversation, okay? So I'll try to give us a quick summary kung what goes into um, a conversation. So, a conversation is kapag, di ba, may sinabi tayo, tapos nakaka-reply. Tapos, siya naman siguro yung may sasabihin, tapos re-replyan mo yon. That's what it means to have a conversation. So, what are the things that you need for that? First, you need to have, and the child needs to have enough words sa vocabulary niya. So, mahirap makipag-converse kapag limited pa lang nung pwede niyang sabihin. Kasi what if yung sinabi mo, naiintindihan niya. Pero yung gusto niyang sabihin, wala pa siyang words for that. So first thing to try to expand is the child's vocabulary para dumami pa ng mga words na malalaman niya para ma-express niya yung gusto niyang sabihin. Another thing to consider is naiintindihan ka ba ng bata? So kapag may, let's say, sinabi siya, tas may sinabi ka ulit sa kanya, naiintindihan ba niya yung sinasabi mo? So the comprehension also needs to be intact. And ways that we can do this is kapag, to check the child's comprehension is kapag gumamit tayo ng word, tapos either mag-respond yung bata appropriately. So what do we mean by that? Kunyari yung bata yung nagsabing bola. Tapos gusto mong maintindihan kung anong nagagawa niya with bola. So sabi mo, sige nga, get ball. Tapos, titingnan ng bata kung nasa ng ball, kukunin niya. So at least alam niya, alam niya yung ball, di ba? So nag-respond siya appropriately to ball. Tapos kinuha niya. So naintindihan niya yung get. Now, another thing is, paltan mo naman yung verb. Pwedeng sabihin mo, sige nga, give ball. Tapos try mo, wag ka muna mag-gestures para lang nagigauge natin kung naintindihan ba niya yung salita lang without me saying, give mga mami nung ball. So, give ball. Kapag nung bata, hinahawakan lang ng ball, tapos naitingnan ka, maaaring hindi niya naintindihan yung give na word, although naiintindihan niya yung ball. So these are some things you can do to check kung okay yung comprehension. What are the things na makakahadlang sa comprehension? There's such a thing as an auditory processing disorder where nung naririnig nila, although naririnig nila, hindi nila parang ma-break down yung narinig nila para maintindihan nila ano bang sinasabi niya. So, tinatry kong explain sa inyo in an easy way. So, para bang kung may nagpakita sa atin ng word na cat, may nagsabi sa atin ng word na cat, tapos hindi mo ma-decode kung ano yung cat. So, may mga problemang ganon sa children. Kung sa tingin mo naman ay okay yung comprehension ng bata at nakukulangan ka lang sa back and forth, you can practice the questions or yung mga tinatanong mo dun sa bata, tapos i-practice mo agad yung sagot. Para nagiget niya na, kapag sinabi ni mommy, ito pala usually or ganito pala siyang pwedeng sagutin. So for example, sinabi mo, gusto mong ma-increase yung conversation. So umuwi ka at sabi mo, hi baby, anong ginawa niyo ni daddy? Tapos nakikita mong nahihirapan siya na sabihin kung anong ginawa nila ni daddy. Ikaw muna yung mag-supply ng examples. Kasi sinabi ni daddy, kanina punta kayo playground. Oo, tapos nag-swing ka daw. Push daddy swing. Oo, saya nun. Tapos tawa ka daw ng tawa. So see, you're giving the child models of, tama, yun nga yung ginawa namin kanina. Yun pala yung words na pwede kong gamitin kapag sinabi ni mommy, anong ginawa nyo kanina? Ang pinag-uusapan pala ay yung ginawa ko nung wala siya. So, yan. I hope that helps you. All right. ito naman, si George. May anak ako ma'am na 2 years old na this month. Tapos yung mga words na kaya niyang bigkasin ay ang tsaka papapa lamang. 2 years old. Okay, so first let's go back to ano yung expected skills natin of children at 2 years old. So at 2 years old, they should have around 100 words, at least 100 words na nasasabi, and they're starting to combine words together. So kunyari, meron na nga silang 100 words, tas nakakapili na sila from those words to, let's say, mama, laro, or laro, toys. So napagdudugtong na nila yan. Kapag ang mga nasasabi ng bata, let's start first with papa, papa. Gusto ko pong tanungin ay kapag sinasabi ba niyang papa, papa, ang ibig sabihin ba niya ay papa? Tinatawag ba niya yung papa? Tuwing sinasabi niya to, consistent ba na nandyan si papa? Sa tingin mo, tinatawag ba niya si papa? Because that's when we know that the child is using this as a word. Kasi kung hindi niyo nakikitang parang hindi, parang sinasabi lang niya kahit kailan. This is still considered non-variegated babbling or reduplicated babbling. Ibig sabihin yung mga sounds na madaling ulit-ulitin lang. Pa, 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 pa. Ma, 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 ma. Da, 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 da. So these are what we call babbling. So it's a good sign na nagbababble yung bata. But at 2 years old, like you said, marami na siyang skills na nawawala. And that's what we want the child to understand. Bakit kaya ito pa lang yung nagagawa ng bata? At saka I think also that the child naman doesn't mean this as the article ang, as in sa English, the, like ang bata. Feeling ko naman hindi, diba? I'm just assuming, but it's very unusual na ito yung word. So I think it's also just sound play. Or nag-explore yung bata ng mga nagagawa niya with his or her mouth. So ang. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but so I'm assuming that this is just sound play. So what you can do, kung kapag ito yung skills ng anak nyo ngayon, try nyo munang expand, imitate, siguro pa-explore nyo pa ng iba pang sounds ng bata. Siguro maka-explore tayo ng other bilabials kasi ang pa ay bilabial, meaning ang sound na ito nagagawa sa pagdikit ng ating dalawang labi. Kaya bi to lips, labial. Dahil meron na siyang papapa, maybe we can try to encourage the child to do naman mama, mama, or baba, baba. So ang papa ay ang voiceless, ang ba ay ang voiced. Ibig sabihin, kailangan nagva-vibrate yung vocal cords niya. And then ang ma naman ay nasal sound, meaning sa ilong lumalabas yung hangin. You can watch my episode. It's episode 5 on my YouTube channel. So dito ka naman sa YouTube. So I think that you know where my channel is, George. Episode 5 po panoorin nyo kung paano po natin ma-encourage yung bata na mag-explore pa ng sounds para lumawak pa yung mga pwede niyang pag-eksperimentohan, which will eventually become the speech sounds na gagamitin niya to try to make words eventually. But dahil 2 years old na rin po siya, kung meron naman pong kakayahan at may access, meaning may malapit namang center or mapupuntahang center, sana po mapatingin nyo na yung bata kung bakit kaya nagbababble pa lang siya at 2 years old. I also want you to consider na baka may hearing problem yung bata because that's one of the first things that we check kapag medyo malaki na yung bata tapos kulang pa yung sounds na naririnig nila. Baka kasi kulang rin yung naririnig nila. So I want you to consider getting a hearing check, and that episode is Check Your Hearing. It is episode 46. So panoorin niyo po muna yan, and I hope that this helped you. Okay, balik po muna tayo dito. So hi Abby from Davao also. Daming mga taga Davao. Hi Glenda. Hi, first time to watch you live. First time to see your name. So welcome and thank you for being here. Hi Katlea. Marie Antoinette, paano ko mapipigilan yung anak ko kagatin ang sarili niya, lalo na pag di niya nagagawa ang gusto niya. 4 years old po siya, ASD diagnosed. Okay, so I hope that, I'll give you a background first. Yung pagkakagat po kasi, it's not because gustong makasakit ng bata. Usually, children, and I believe that people in general are good by nature. So, dahil bata pa yan, I don't think naman that the biting is gusto niyang saktan yung sarili niya. But it's an expression of frustration dahil kung nasa spectrum nga po siya and I'm assuming na kulang pa rin, meron siyang speech delay or speech disorder, kulang ang kanyang capacity to express that frustration. Di niya masabing, oh, nakakainis! Or di niya masabing, ayoko nga nito. So, ang gagawin niya is the thing na siguro madali sa kanya or may possibly even gives him comfort. Because children on the spectrum or individuals on the spectrum usually may accompanying sensory disorder yan, sensory processing disorder or yung mga nararamdaman nila na with their senses, kesyo nakikita nila, na nararamdaman nila kapag pinisil sila, yung paggalaw nila in space. So, there is a problem dun sa body nila of how to process these sensations na kung sa atin, for example, ay tinapik kang ganyan, light lang yan. Pero sa kanya, may mga ibang tao na, oh, sobrang sakit na nun. Or yung iba naman, nahampas na, parang walang naramdaman. These are some signs that tell us or that show us na the child has a different sensory need. So, ang pagkakagat po, we have to try to investigate bakit pagkakagat. There's two possible things that I'm thinking. One is that, depende rin kung anong sabi nga niya, hindi niyo po nasabi, no, kung saan kumakagat. But I see a lot of kids na kinakagat yung kamay nila, ganyan. So, kapag kinakagat yung kamay nila, it's possible na gusto nila ng pressure, gusto nilang makaramdam ng pressure sa kanilang hand, or pressure sa kanilang jaw na nabibigay ng feeling of biting something. So that's what you need to figure out is ano ba yung sensation na hinahanap ng bata para makalma siya. To give you a better explanation of this, well, not one better, but a longer one, para lang I can move on to other questions dito sa Libreng Konsulta natin. I made an episode about this called repetitive behaviors or stimming. Sa YouTube ko po ay episode 59 po ito. And I hope that you watch that video. Baka mahanap nyo which one is the sensory need ng anak ninyo. And for a child to respond better or to even be in a position na mas matututo siya, they first need to be comfortable, they need to feel safe, and that's why we need to address muna their different sensory needs. For those who are not aware, so ASD is autism spectrum disorder, and yung pinag-uusapan naming different sensory needs, it could be baka may mga some of the more common or pinakakilalang different stimming or self-stimulatory behaviors ay yung flapping. Kaya po nakakita tayo ng mga batang nagfa-flap or nakakita tayo ng mga batang nagro-rock back and forth. So itong flapping could be they want the movement. This is a vestibular seeking behavior. Baka itong movement na ito makes them feel safe and comfortable. Yung rocking is also vestibular. It's movement in space. Baka nakakakita kayo ng behaviors ng anak nyo na mahilig tumitig sa mga ilaw, tas ang tagal, kaya nilang tumitig lang. That means they are seeking the stimulation of something visual. So yan, you need to figure out what it is that your child needs and address it first. So ang haba po because I think that baka may ibang mga magtatanong with the same question. So, naano ko na, tinry ko nang sagutin yung kaya kong sagutin. All right, and then let's see. Dito muna tayo kumuha naman ulit sa YouTube. Hi, Zanitha. And eto si Ayla, ang concern ko, si baby 3 years old, bulol pa rin. Di marunong makipag-usap pero may nasabi ng one word at nakikipag-communicate na. Okay, so I don't know if you mean may nasabi ng one word as in isa pa lang yung word niya, tas yun pa lang yung alam niya talaga, or nakakasabi na siya ng mga tigsi-single words pero madami-dami na rin. Yung pagkabulol. Alright, let's talk about this. Kasi sa Pilipino, iisa lang yung term natin for bulol, meaning hindi klaro yung pagkasabi. But actually, sa English, we have, or at least in speech pathology, we differentiate kung ang bulol na to ay part of the learning process ng bata. Meaning, ganun talaga eh. When they're learning, when they're babies, from, let's say, from the time they say their first word at around the 1-year-old to around 3 years old, this is the time that they're practicing how they're talking. So, merong mga pagkabulol na natural pa sa mga age na to. But the statistic is, or the average is, by 3 years old, mga 25% of the time na lang yung mga hindi nyo dapat naiintindihan. More often than not, mga 75% ang sinasabi ng bata by 3 years old, dapat naiintindihan nyo na. So that's one way of seeing, meron na bang speech sound disorder yung anak ko, or baka meron siyang motor disorder, kaya mali-mali yung nasasabi niya, is because mali-mali pala yung pagkagalaw ng bibig niya, or the articulators of the mouth, like yung lips niya, di pala niya maakyat yung dila niya, and ma-drop yung jaw niya and other things. Or if it's still that learning, para bang learning curve nila in speaking, which is what we call a phonological process. A phonological process is some patterns of children's speech, of babies, toddlers, of babies and toddlers' speech na natural na pinagdadaanan ng mga baby while they're learning, because babies are efficient creatures. Kung anong pinakamadaling gawin, yun at yun muna ang gagawin nila unless we monitor them and give them the proper models. That's why it's important na kapag nakarinig tayo ng, let's say, nasabi nung bata ay, Mami, lawo ko puta, for example, and you know that they're saying, Mommy, laro ko yung pusa. Imbes na sabihin, hindi ko maintindihan, take a break. Baka naman maintindihan mo if you investigate the situation, na ang gusto palang sabihin ay, Mommy, kalaro ko yung pusa. So kapag nasabi niya yon, just model the proper behavior right away and say, oo nga, kalaro mo pusa. Yung pusa natin, cute-cute ng pusa. So keep showing how you are saying it properly. And then if you want to take it a step further, kapag medyo malaki na yung anak ni mga 3 years old above, is mapopoint nyo na yung mga parts ng mga bibig mo para makita niya na, pusa. Nakasara yung ni mommy, nung bibig niya. Tapos, nagbo-blow lang ako ng air palabas. So these are some things that you can consider. But if you want to watch my longer explanation, one is bulol. Episode 36 yan on my YouTube channel again. And this gives you tips on how to determine, kasi kapag sinabi nating bulol, di ko lang kasi siya maintindihan eh. But actually, there are steps that we can take to find out ano ba yung maling nasasabi nung anak kong sounds. And then kapag na-determine natin kung ano mismo yung mga sounds, hindi pala niya mabigkas nung p sound, or di pala niya mabigkas nung l sound. And that's where you start. Dun mo siya masisimulang mabigyan ng tulong. And another about phonological processes, episodes 57 and 58, if you want to know. Because ang phonological process, like I said, the typical patterns of learning, ay dapat nagsa-start ng mawala by 3 years old. So find out if ano yung phonological process ng anak nyo at anong edad siya usually nawawala to guide you. I hope that this helps you, Ayla. Okay, ayan tumatalon na naman po. So I'm very sorry guys kapag tumalon na, nawala na yan sa ano mababasa ko. Please sa iba po na baka inuulit-ulit po yung question, please don't do that. Para po respeto po dun sa ibang may tanong din. Plus, mas hindi ko mababalikan yung question nyo kasi tumatalon po sa akin yung mga hindi ko na mabasa. So, wag pong paulit-ulit yung paglagay ng question. Please, please. Some respect and consideration. Okay. Another question from Facebook. 7 years old na next year. Nasa ibang bansa kami. Waiting for speech therapy. Gusto namin magpatingin sa DevPedia para malaman. Oh, sorry, tumalo na naman po. Okay. Ito, yung anak ko may red flag pero nagbababbling naman siya, nakakaintindi siya kapag inuutusan pero di pa talaga nakikipag-usap. Depende po kung ilang taon na po yung anak nyo kapag nagbababbling and up to like 1 year old. Good that nagbababbling. Typical po yon of until 1 year old pero dapat po, well not dapat, but usually the typical patterns ay by 1 year old, prefer na ng mga bata na gumamit ng single words to communicate. So how can we encourage more communication? So take note also kung paano kayo nag-uusap sa bahay. Nag-uusap ba kayo sa bahay? Especially nung pandemic na ang daming families na nagkukwento sa akin na alam mo teacher, totoo, hindi namin siya nakakausap kasi nag-work from home kami. So, usually kapag nagtatrabaho daw sila sabay, iniiwanan lang nila yung anak nila doon. Tapos usually pa, nakababad sa gadgets, ganyan. Naku, yan ang number one enemy ng speech development. Speech and language development ay panunood ng animated videos. So, mabalikan ko yan mamaya kasi so far wala pa naman tayong nakikitang nagde-describe ng features na to. But so first thing you need to do kapag hindi pa nakikipag-usap yung anak nyo ay, nag-uusap ba kayo sa bahay? Marami bang stimulation na maririnig yung bata? Next is binibigyan nyo ba siya ng opportunity na mag-communicate sa inyo? So baka naman kasi nakaupo lang yung bata doon, tapos kada kibo niya, titingin pa lang siya doon sa cabinet. Ito ba yung anak niyo? Ay, ito ba yung gusto niyo, anak? Gusto mo ba ng gatas? Gusto mo ba ng biskwit? Gusto mo ba ng cookie? Tumingin pa lang yung bata. Wala pa siyang sinasabi. So baka napapangunahan yun ng mga pangangailangan niya masyado. And dahil nabibigay niyo na lahat, the child might be lacking the opportunities to try to communicate verbally or otherwise with you. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. Another thing that you want to look at, actually guys, I have an episode on this. These episodes are about opportunities and obstacles. So episodes 8 and 8.1 po yan sa YouTube. Sobrang daming tips dyan about things that you can do. So, share ko na rin yung iba dito. If yung anak nyo medyo malaki na, tapos imbis na humingi sa inyo or makipag-communicate for help, ay gagawin niya mag-isa niya yung bagay. Kasi medyo malaki na siya, nakakaakyat na siya ng upuan, tapos bubuksan niya yung cabinet mag-isa at kukunin niya yung gusto niya mag-isa. So kung may nakita kayong ganitong behavior ng anak ninyo, make sure na yung mga kukunin niya by him or herself ay itago niyo po muna nang hindi niya makukuha without your help. So that you can create the opportunity where kapag nakikita mong nandun lang yung bata, tapos ay, wala, nasan yung cookies ko? Tapos hindi na niya alam yung gagawin niya. You can try to model the ways na pwedeng, sabihin mo kasi, Mami, gusto ko cookie. Or give ko ba cookie sa'yo? Gutom ka, get natin yung cookie. So, nakakapag-stimulate ka na nga sa kanya na mabibigyan pa siya ng opportunity to try to make sounds or to even siguro point kung nandun pa lang siya at that level. So, all right. Gagaling pa ba yung anak kong may autism? Okay, that's another frequently asked question. So, ang autism po, or autism spectrum disorder, ay hindi po sakit na mawawala or gagaling. Hindi po yan tulad ng, let's say, sipon or cancer. Yan, may mga gamot or treatment tayo para dyan. Ang autism ay isang lifelong condition that affects nga one of the things that I said, yung sometimes the sensory processing of the child and repetitive behaviors because of these sensory needs. Often another sign is speech delay or a speech disorder. May mga children na walang regard for danger. Ibig sabihin, parang hindi nila naintindihan yung konsepto na kapag nasa hagdan ako, tapos tumalon ako ng mataas, masasaktan ako. So wala silang ganung awareness of their surroundings. So these are some of the signs that the child may have autism. Why do I say may have? Because guys, ang pag-diagnose ng autism ay hindi, okay, meron na tayong 6 signs, may autism na yan. Hindi po ganon. Kabuuan pa rin po ng bata at ng tao ang tinitingnan bago po ma-diagnose ng autism. Kaya ang nakakagawa nito ay yung may mga training gumamit ng mga autism diagnostic tools. At sa bansa natin ay usually ang developmental pediatrician. Okay. Dito po muna tayo sa... Wait lang. Okay. May pag-asa pa bang magsalita ang 5 years and 9 months old kung late na ang speech therapy? Yes, very related to the first question that we had today. So guys, kaya tayo may therapy. Yan po ang foundations of therapy is, yes, we want early intervention because yung learning ng bata from 0 to 3 years old, sobrang mas mabilis yung learning ng mga bata at this time at mas malleable pa yung brain nila because it is developing rapidly yung brain nila at this time. But yes, even beyond that, like I said, learning is lifelong. Especially yung may mga batang may other conditions like, let's say, yan na nga, ASD or may batang may Down syndrome. There have been stories na, teacher, nagka-first word siya at 7 years old or nagawa niya yung first word niya at 10 years old. So, once a child has a condition, we really cannot expect them to follow the typical patterns that we see of, dapat by 4 years old, ganito yung alam. Once we know that the child already has another diagnosis that explains their speech delay, medyo linelet go na natin yung mga age expected or age appropriate, and we just want the child to be able to communicate how they can, when they can, at their own pace. So yes, definitely may pag-asa pang magsalita yung 5-year-old nyo, especially if now, nagpapa-speech therapy na kayo. Kasi now, mas targeted na yung help na maibibigay sa inyo. Meron dito, ang 3 years old ko ay inuuntog ang kanyang ulo kapag inaantok. Am I still here? Nabalik ba ako? Okay. So yes, there's this concern na nag-uuntog ng ulo. Guys, this is still related to what I said kanina about sensory needs. Kapag nag-uuntog ng ulo, it could be a sign of or an expression of frustration na parang gusto ko nang matulog. So dahil inaantok na siya, hindi niya masabi sa inyong, Mama, tama ka na dyan, pumunta na tayo sa kama or buhatin mo na ako, dalhin mo na ako sa kama. Dahil kung hindi nga sila makapag-communicate sa inyo ng ganon, ito na lang, naiinis na lang siya at iuuntog niya yung ulo niya. Or it could be na ang pag-uuntog ng ulo ay calming sa kanya. Like I said, and mentioned kanina, this is a repetitive behavior. So you can either rewind to what I said kanina or you could watch my episode on repetitive behaviors or stimming, episode 59 on my YouTube channel. I hope that helps you. All right. True po ba OT 2 times a week for 6 months ang recommendation sa kanya, after naman speech therapy. Talaga po bang kapag developmental language delay, hindi din part ng autism? Hindi ko po maintindihan. I think dalawang parts yung tanong mo. Or I think kinukuwento mo lang sa akin na nag-o-OT na yung anak nyo and after 6 months sinabi sa inyo, titingnan kung pwede nang mag-speech therapy. So, sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam, this is not unusual naman. Usually, we want to do occupational therapy and speech therapy together, sabay-sabay. Pero nga, dahil nasa Pilipinas tayo at alam namin may mga financial constraints ang mga kababayan natin, karamihan ay if isa lang ang kaya nating gawin, ay inuuna natin ang OT muna, especially if meron pong significant behavior issues na kailangan munang i-address. Bakit? Kasi speech and language is higher learning. For play, it needs a lot of joint attention. Mostly joint attention and the intent to engage. So kapag yung bata ay hindi muna ma-fulfill yung sensory needs, especially kapag yung may ASD, inuuna muna natin ang OT para mas pagdating sa speech therapy ay makaka-benefit siya dun sa speech therapy. Alam nating maximize natin yung time niya. So yung isa namang part ng sinabi mo ay ang developmental language delay ay part ba ng autism? I think is what your question is. So okay, kung hindi po klinaro ang diagnosis sa inyo as nasa spectrum yung anak nyo or may ASD yung anak ninyo, ibig sabihin hindi conclusive si doc. Hindi siya nakakita ng enough evidence or kailangan pa niyang makita yung behaviors ng bata in time bago niya ma-determine na, okay, I really believe that this child is in the spectrum. So kung wala siyang sinabing your child has ASD at sinabi niya ay developmental language disorder, then yun muna nung gusto niyang i-focus mo. How are they connected though? Ang mga may autism spectrum disorder, kalimitan, madalas, also has speech or language delay or disorder. Pero kapag meron kang speech-language delay, does not automatically mean na autism na yon. So, hindi po sila pantay at laging magkasama. So, I hope you understand that. Ang anak ko, GDD, 5 years old, gusto po niyang nilalaro ang mga tali. Kapag kinukuha namin, nagwawala na po ba dapat nagwawala. Ano po ba dapat gawin para matanggal? Okay, it looks like ang repetitive behavior niya has something to do with the tali. So I know that you said that your child's diagnosis is GDD, and sa mga hindi nakakaalam, that's global developmental delay. Which means na nakakita yung doktor na nag-diagnose sa kanya ng more than one delay in aspects of their development. So usually ang mga delays na to ay may speech delay, tas meron ding gross motor delay or fine motor delay or cognitive delay, as in hindi nakakapag-pay attention, ganyan, or mababa ang working memory, for example. So I know that you said that your diagnosis is GDD. So I don't know kung merong different sensory needs yung anak mo, but okay. Kung hindi naman po i-obserbahan niyo po kasi yung repetitive behavior ng anak ninyo. Yung paghawak ba ng tali ay nakakalma kaya siya? Subukan yung habang pinaglalaruan yung tali ay nakakausap nyo siya, sinistimulate nyo siya, tinatry nyo siyang ipagawa ng tasks. Because there are just different learners. May mga taong kailangan may kinakalikot at pag may kinakalikot sila, mas nakakakinig pala sila. Mas napoprocess pala nila yung mga ibang bagay. So tingnan mo if the playing with the string, the repetitive behavior, is actually helping your child to regulate or to, paano ba Tagalogin ng regulate? para bang control their emotions and their to make it more conducive for them to learn. At kung hindi naman nakakasakit, at nakakausap niyo siya at nakakagawa siya ng tasks, huwag niyo na pong kunin yung string. It is just something that your child needs to help himself process things. Again, you may want to look at my episode on repetitive behaviors or stimming. It's episode 59 because I really think that this string is a form of repetitive behavior. Pero for those of you, siguro, sige, explain ko na rin kung bakit parang, di ba, nakakakita tayo ng mga fidget toys, fidget spinner, or ganyan. And these are really made for children that nung repetitive behaviors nila help them to listen. And when we take it away, parang sasabog yung thoughts nila and mas hindi sila makakoncentrate. So there, I want you to investigate that and I hope that that helps you. At ikaw po, yung nagpaulit-ulit ng question mo, sana last na yon because hindi ko na po nabasa yung iba dahil spinam mo po yung comment natin. Di ako galit, pinapaalala ko lang. Baka kasi bago ka. Actually, hindi ko kilala yung name mo. Ngayon ko palang nakita yan. So, please stop na po tayo mag-spam. Thank you. Okay. Dito naman tayo sa YouTube ko. Hi, my son is 3 years old next month. He can talk. Nauutusan. So, hihimayin ko lang tong sinabi niya. He can talk, so meron siyang expressive language. Nauutusan, meaning meron siyang receptive language kasi kayo yung nagsalita at naintindihan niya. So this is a good sign. These are the things in your description na help me understand yung situation. Pero if I make him choose something, like kunwari if he wants a dog or a cat, yes, lagi ang sagot. May pinapakita naman akong photos. Okay, mahirap yung ganito. Sometimes they default to what they think the question is, especially if madalas kayong may tanong sa kanya na, do you want this? Yes or no? Yes or no ang sagot nun, di ba? So baka sobrang nasasanay yung bata na, at tuwing tinatanong ako yes or no yung sagot nun. This is a sign though na di niya naiintindihan yung tanong. So what you can do is just keep practicing. So if do you want dog or cat? Want dog. So one of the things we do is we change how we present the information. Let's say pantay yung sabi mo may pictures ka. Kung pantay yung pinapakita yung pictures, one way to do this is sabihin mo, do you want dog? Picture ng dog. Or do you want cat? Dog or cat? O get. Alin yung gusto mo, for example. Tapos kapag nakita mong ang kamay niya ay nag-grab ng dog picture, kahit na hindi pa niya sinasabi, ibigay mo na at sabihin mo, I want dog. Yun pala yung gusto mo. I want dog. I choose dog. So, present the question and then model the ways na, ganito pala sagutin to, hindi yes or no. So kapag nag-yes siya, control the urge to respond pa to the yes. Huwag mo nang sabihin, hindi yes or no, anak. Kasi tatatak na naman yung yes. Maririnig na naman niya yung yes sa inyo. Diretsohin mo na dun sa gusto mo. I want dog, for example. So, ways of checking your child's comprehension. You can check my episode 17 on object identification. What you said exactly is one of the tips na sinishare ko dito is how nga ba do you present to someone na naiintindihan ba niya yung gusto ko? Does the child understand the question? Does the child understand the components of the question? Kasi ang components ng question, merong question word. What do you want? The action. Dog, alam ba niya ang dog? Or cat, alam ba niya yung cat? So sa atin kasi sometimes we forget that. My gosh, it is really so complicated to communicate verbally. So when you feel like, guys, parang ubos na kayo, parang hindi ko na alam kung paano ko ipaintindi. I-chop, chop, chop nyo pa yung information into smaller bits until you find saan nanggagaling yung difficulty ng anak ko. So I hope that helps you. Hi, Gail. And hello, Yusef. Blessed Sunday also. All right. Next, dito naman tayo sa okay. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng T/CASD? This means to consider. So like I mentioned kanina, kapag sinabi ng doktor na to consider at hindi naka-define na autism spectrum disorder, to consider means di pa sure si doc because probably nag-present ng characteristics or qualities that are consistent with autism. Pero kasi ang autism presents with other characteristics that might be explained by other factors or other disorders. Kapag hindi sure si doc, ibig sabihin kailangan niya ng time na siguro tanggalin muna natin tong factor na to. Pag natanggal na to, and then magpa-check up kayo ulit, tingnan natin kung ganun pa rin yung behavior. And then maybe the doctor can be more sure. When does this happen? Okay, dito na ang ano. And I'm not saying this is any of you kasi wala pang nagsasabi ng specific nito, but one kasi of the things na nakikita natin lately, especially nag-rise nitong pandemic, and parang meron nang bagong term na lumalabas ngayon. Pero guys, disclaimer, hindi pa to official study. Nabasa ko pa lang sa article, hindi pa ito. We don't take it as truth. But there is something that they're starting to call virtual autism. Ibig sabihin na nakakakita sila ng features of autism sa mga bata. Pero nung tinanggal yung factor na ito, surprise, feeling ko alam niyo na, nawala din yung features na yon. And what is this? This is screen time. First, I want to define screen time. At sa mga matatagal na dito, alam niyo na, ito na naman, mangungulit na naman si Teacher K about screen time. So, what is screen time? Screen time is kapag yung panunood or pagbababad sa animated videos. So, klaruhin ko lang, hindi kasama sa screen time ang video calls. Because ang ayaw naman natin sa screen time ay yung pagka one-way niya. Kapag video call, two-way. Merong nagsasalitang tao on the other side of the screen na nagre-respond to things that we say to them. So, functional yung communication. Screen time is hyper-stimulating cartoons such as that we see now that they do with nursery rhymes and other educational video programs. But what's the problem with this? Usually when you use cartoons and drawings and pictures are still just symbols to a baby's brain. Symbol pa lang yan. Tayo lang ang nakakaintindi pa o nakaka-identify ng pictures because we already know kung ano yung picture na yung rene-represent in real life. For example, a picture of a ball means, ito palang laruan kong ball. Yun din pala, yun ang sinasabi ng picture na yun. But to babies who may not have had an experience with a ball will not know what this picture of a round thing is. They don't know the concept of round. So, hindi nakakatulong ang panunood ng mga cartoons sa mga babies, ano? Kaya nga ang American Academy of Pediatrics ba? I'm so sorry kung mali yung pangalan ng sasabihin ko, but okay, ang medical standpoint is there should be no watching of animated videos. This includes games because animation din yan. From birth to 2 years old. 0. Why is this important? And why should it be a natural thing not to have screen time for babies? Ano ba ang posisyon ng baby nyo kapag sanggol pa yan? 'Di ba usually naman ay ang posisyon lang nila ay kung saan natin sila ilagay. Kapag ilapag mo sa kama, nasa kama lang siya. Whatever. Kapag buhat mo lang siya. Meaning, there is no access for the baby to naturally have screen time kung hindi ikaw yung magbigay. At kaya kayo ang magulang dahil makokontrol nyo kung ano ang kailangan at sanang hindi kailangang ibigay. So, from 0 to 2 years old, wala pang sense na mag-screen time. Okay? At ang nakikitang itong mga articles that mention virtual autism ay sa mga batang may early exposure to hyperstimulating videos, at nagkaka-features sila because they begin to get repetitive behaviors. Itong kanina pa nating pinag-uusapan, such as reciting the alphabet over and over, reciting colors, numbers, lyrics of nursery rhymes na wala namang saysay pa sa kanila, hindi naman nila naiintindihan yun. Di ba? Minsan nga nagtatry mag-sing-along pero bulol na bulol. That's because it means nothing to them. So, what do I suggest for you guys is to not have screen time from 0 to 2 years old. At kapag nakakita na hindi nagbababol yung anak ninyo, hindi nakapag first word by 1 year old, hindi nakapag-combine ng words by 2 years old, at nagsi-screen time siya, itigil po muna ang screen time. It is the one thing that is in our control. The speech disorder in your child's brain is not in our control. Di natin yan makukutkot at maaayos. So we start with things that are only in our control, and that is by not giving the screen time. Okay, sana klaro tayo doon. If you have follow-up questions, I will be happy to provide more explanations. But also, there's an episode on this already called The Science of Screen Time, episode 21, and Managing Screen Time, episode 22, for other things that you can do aside from screen time. And guys, I know that screen time kasi is convenient. Kaya nagiging takbuhan na natin, kapag ay, kailangan kong pumunta ng banyo, saksakan ng screen. But guys, I want you also to understand na hindi kailangan ng anak nyo ng 24/7, as in 24 hours a day, forever may nag-e-entertain sa mga bata. They don't need it. They just need to have meaningful engagements, and they will actually learn more than if iniwanan mo sila with a one-way talking, singing screen. I hope I make it clear because guys, feel nyo naman siguro, di ba? I feel so strongly about this because ang dami kong inquiries ngayon, ang daming mga cases na, 2 weeks ko palang na-handle yung bata, na-dismiss ko na, tinanggal lang namin yung screen time. So para tulungan nyo din yung supply and demand ng speech therapists natin sa bansa, tanggalin nyo na muna yung screen time para di na kayo kailangang tugunan ng speech therapist at mapunta yung time namin dun sa mga talagang may underlying conditions na kailangan ng tulong namin. So, ayun. Gosh, sana hindi ako nagalit. I tried very hard to say everything with a smile. Okay, move on na tayo dyan, guys. My 4-year-old is in speech therapy for 6 months and OT for a year. He can comprehend well, nauutusan na, can spell CVC words, knows ABC numbers, shapes, but still non-verbal. Before, no sound at all, pero now, asa na? Pero, pero now he can babble and knows how to shout, and if frustrated, minsan nakakapagsalita siya like, ayaw, tara, mali, but still non-verbal. Is it great improvement na po ba for 6 months speech therapy, or kulang pa po and need pa namin dagdagan yung therapy niya? Oh my gosh, wait lang, mommy, clarify ko lang yung sinasabi mo, Kasi nakakapagsabi siya ng ayaw, tara, and mali. and sinasabi mong non-verbal siya. Mommy, words yun. So, verbal na siya. So, I just want to congratulate you and keep it up. Whatever you're doing, this is big progress for 6 months na nagka-sounds, na dati wala, can even spell. You are reaching your child in ways that he was not doing before. So, good job. No, I'm very, of course, mommy, nasa decision mo yon if kaya nyo financially, kaya nyo time-wise to add therapy. And yes, more therapy could mean that there is targeted practice more times in a week. But also, sa lahat sa inyo, guys, therapy is because you need the professional to figure out what's the problem and to figure out the goals for your child. But the bulk of the work, guys, sa inyo pa rin, sa inyong families. Because we have your child sometimes 1 hour or 2 hours in a week. You have them for their life. You have them all the time. And that's when it really makes a significant difference, as when we practice what the therapist tells you to practice at home, do it consistently, make sure the household is in agreement with everything. Bakit? Kasi minsan, si mommy concerned na concerned, pinag-therapy si baby. So si mommy, lahat ng sinasabi ng therapist ginagawa. Pero si daddy na in denial, walang problema yung anak ko and therefore patuloy pa rin siya ng screen time. Ayaw pa rin niyang kausapin yung anak niya in a certain way na sinabi ng therapist. Mas hindi nakakabuti sa bata na magkakaiba yung ginagawa at mga paniniwala ninyo about how to help the child. So it's also very important, number one, family dynamic. Family support is the first thing that we need to get in line. Yun ang una nating kailangang masigurado. And once family support is there, everything will follow. I hope that helps you. My daughter is 3. Konti pa lang ang nasasabi niya, like no and stop, and sings some end lyrics to her favorite music, then most of the time is emotional with TV. Oh, mommy, ito na po mismo yung sinabi ko kanina. It looks like your child is screen dependent or screen addicted. I'm trying to move away from the word addiction because ang daming nagsasabi sa akin, nakakasakit ka, teacher, offensive ka. Because ganun talaga yung behavior, di ba? Imagine mo yung bata is nagagalit kapag hindi nakuha yung screen, ganyan, or paggising na paggising pa lang, yun yung gustong abutin. O, di ba ganyan ang mga actions ng mga addict, ng mga alcoholic, ganyan. Na paggising pa lang, tagay agad. Tapos kapag pinipigilan mo, nagagalit. So, di ba? Isn't it like addiction? But yeah, so the first thing that you can do, mommy, is remove the screen. I promise you. Like, I'm not even scared. I promise you, if you just try, experiment with removing screens for 1 week, kayo mismo yung makakakita ng improvement. Kahit maliit na improvement lang yan. Like, umokay po yung tulog niya, teacher. Or, hindi na po siya masyadong moody. Hindi na niya kami sinisigawan. Hindi na siya masyadong nagdadabog. These are some of the things na are the immediate things that we see kapag nag-screen rehab. Yan po yung mga as little as 4 days na naririnig ko from the people, from my clients and the people that I've advised. So I hope that you can also try it. Cute naman ang name nito, Squishy Neon. I'm an avid fan of your videos kasi 2 years old na po yung anak, hindi pa makapagsalita ng sentence and pili lang po yung words na sinasabi niya. Hirap din po siya mag-focus. Please help. Okay, so 2 years old, 2 years old, hindi pa po talaga nagsisentence. Nagko-combine pa lang po yan ng 2 words together. So, baka po iba lang yung expectations natin dahil baka nakakita tayo ng ibang 2-year-old na nagsisentence na. And it's not because your child is delayed, but because that other child might be advanced. Kaya I warn you about comparing your children with mga kapitbahay, kaklase, whatever, because iba-iba ang bata. So we always want to refer to professional guidelines such as milestones, developmental milestones. So I just want to reassure you that at 2 years old, hindi pa talaga sentence yan. But if you mean by sentence nga, is combining 2 words together. Here is a tip. It's called either expansion or extension. I have an episode on expansion or extension, that's episode 30. Pero explain ko na rin a little bit here. Kapag nakakasabi na yung bata ng tig-iisang mga words. So, tas kahit na bulol pa yan at 2 years old, like I said earlier in the live stream, hindi pa klarong-klaro yan until around 3 years old. Kapag tinatry sabihin ng bata ay ganyan. Tapos nakita mong nakatingin siya dun sa dog nyo. Alam mong tinatry sabihin ng bata, dog. So, kapag sabi niya, sabihin mo lang, dog. Yung dog natin, cute dog, no? Love dog. So, you are saying the things that the child possibly wanted to say, kaso hindi pa buo yung pagkakabigkas or wala pa siyang vocabulary to say these things. So you are supplying the words for the child. This is when we expand from do to dog, the actual target, or what you think the child was doing. For example, ginaganyan ng bata ng mukha ng dog habang sinasabi niyang do. Play mo yung mukha ng dog. Play ko dog. That is expanding do habang ginagawa niya to. When you want to extend the utterance or yung nasabi niya, for example, sinabi niyang do. Sabi mo, yung dog nating white. Dog natin name niyan salty. Love mo dog. Pet mo dog. Ang dami mo nang nadagdag na other words with regard to dog. So you are just teaching the child, these are other things related to our dog that you could also use to describe our dog. That is extension technique. Again, guys, that's episode 30 if you want a more detailed explanation. Okay. Next, let's get again from Facebook. How about teeth grinding? Not when sleeping. Thank you, 3 years old. Teeth grinding po, habang gising po yung bata, and I have a client right now na yan po yung wino-workout namin, is again, it's a possible sensory behavior. So we want to maybe be able to provide pressure kung anong ginagawa ng bata. Ano kayang nag-gain niya from grinding? What is the sensation that the child probably wants? And we try to supply that so that we can remove the grinding. But first of all, go to your dentist. Baka ma-suggest na bigyan muna kayo ng mouth guard. Kasi kapag lumala yung grinding and hindi pa fully developed, di ba, yung milk teeth ng baby, baka ma-wear down talaga. Tapos mahirapan kumain or magka-cavity, mamaya magka-infection, ang dami-daming posibleng pwedeng mangyari. So first, go to your dentist at baka mabigyan kayo ng mouth guard, and next, figure out what is the sensation that your child needs addressed. So sometimes we give massages, like binibigyan natin ng pressure dito sa jaw area, or it might not be the pressure in the mouth, but just that the child needs stimulation. Because what works for my child, before we start with therapy, ipapaswing ko siya ng malala kasi meron din siyang vestibular seeking. So kapag sobrang nasi-stimulate na siya by the swing, napapansin ko, nagre-relax yung jaw niya at hindi na siya masyadong nag-grind at mas marami pang na-explore na other sounds yung bata, because yung grinding means grabe yung pressure, hindi sila makaka-explore ng other sound other than a closed mouth sound. So we want to be able to help the child loosen their jaw by finding what the need is. Wait, gusto ko tong basahin kasi may nag-compliment sa akin. Ayun na, hindi ko na nakita. Nabasa ko lang. Sinabi niya, "You look good, teacher." Thank you. Pero hindi ko nabasa kung may karugtong na question. I'm so sorry. Okay, YouTube tayo ulit. Super cute talaga ng name na Squishy Neon. Okay, this next one. Good afternoon. Anong pinaka-effective way to address echolalia? May chance bang maging okay yung may mga echolalia as they grow up? 6 years old yung son ko. Salamat po. So, the first thing that you need to find is where are they getting their phrases or words? Because echolalia is the repetition of other people's words. And this possibly happens because the child has difficulty using words of their own, as in pumili ng kanilang own words to form a message, or it's because they are hyperstimulated. So, first thing that you need to address is saan ang gagaling yung words na yon? If it's coming from you guys, the child's communication partners, then what you can do is make sure that nagagamit niya in meaningful situations. For example, laging sinasabi ng bata na, no, no yan, no, no yan. Pero inuulit-ulit lang, no, no yan. You can use no, no yan in situations where appropriate niyang sabihin yung no, no yan. So, gayahin mo siya. Next time, let's say na, muntik na niyang hawakan yung mainit na kaldero. Oops! No, no yan. So, nagamit mo yung echolalia niya, yung words na gusto niyang inuulit-ulit, which motivates the child na, naririnig mo yung sinasabi ko. So, it makes them feel heard and understood, but also you're using the language that they can eventually use later, and we find more meaningful situations for them to use the echolalia. Number 2, kung ang pinanggagalingan ng echolalia ay mga nursery rhymes at things nga na napapanood nga sa mga screens at sa mga video, tanggalin po muna ang panonood ng mga hyperstimulating videos. Kung hindi na po nanonood, kung tipong from things you listen to, meron kayong Spotify playlist, you might want to vary the playlist para hindi nagiging excessive interest yung bata. Stimulate them with other things also. Third is to find out when do they say the words. For example, sinasabi pala niya yung no, no yan every time may ayaw siya. So, gagamitin, pero minsan inappropriate yung gamit. For example, kunyari, sinabi mo, let's go na to the bathroom. Magto-toothbrush na tayo. Ayaw na ayaw pala niya nagto-toothbrush. So, doon niya sinasabi, no, no yan, no, no yan, no, no yan, no, no yan. So, you respond to that by saying, kailangan nating mag-toothbrush, ganyan. So, and then you can also model other ways for the child to say, instead of no, no yan. Pwedeng sabihin mo, ayaw ko toothbrush. Alam ko, ayaw mo nagto-toothbrush. Kaso, dirty teeth kahit ayaw toothbrush. Sorry, tara na. Let's do it fast, okay? So, always respond pa rin to the communicative intent because that's more important, that you don't ignore the echolalia. Of course, may mga excessive echolalia, especially sa mga on the spectrum. And then there will be times where you can let them repeat verbal stems without addressing them. But makikita mo naman sa body language nila when they're trying to use the phrase as communication, or if they're just using it because it's comfortable for them to keep saying it. Ang speech delay ay may connection ba sa genes ng parents kapag late talker din? Yes, meron pong hereditary component ang speech delays and speech disorders. But just because it runs in the family doesn't mean hindi nyo na siya i-address. Because sabihin natin, kasi yung daddy niyan, 6 years old na yan talaga nakapagsalita eh. Hindi naman natin gugustuhin 6 years old na lang din makakapagsalita yung bata. Dahil, number one, di tayo makakasigurado kung siya din, sa 6 years old siya matututong makapagsalita. And number two, masasayang yung lahat ng years before 6 years old if we wait, na, my gosh, by 6 years old, nakakapagkwento na yan. So we're missing out on the lovely moments that you could have with your child na makakapagsabi na siya ng gusto niya sa inyo, di ba? So, yes. So quick answer is yes, merong hereditary component ang speech-language delays and disorders. Actually, pati ang other conditions like autism and ADHD, meron talagang hereditary component. But yun, early intervention is key so that and because iba-iba lahat ng tao, hindi dahil ganon yung speech delay ni daddy, ay ganon din yung magiging speech delay ng bata. We need to find what is causing the problem. There. Okay. Oh, I've been thinking this also. Normal ba yung inuulit-ulit nila yung phrases na naririnig niya? Yung bunso ko, 2 years old, inuulit niya, minsan madalas, pero may times na marunong siyang mag-converse, kaya din mag-express ng gusto. It depends how repetitive yung paulit-ulit. Definitely, kapag inuulit niya, tas parang di naman nagagamit communicatively, ayaw natin yon because hindi siya functional. Yeah, and it becomes a crutch dun sa bata because bakit niya kailangang mag-aksaya ng kanyang lakas ng effort na ulit-ulitin nang hindi naman niya kailangan. But again, this is different for children that are neurodivergent or meron ngang like other conditions that they just don't behave or process things in the way that we are used to as neurotypicals. So I hope that answer helps you. Anong recommended nyo na DHA vitamins for kids 6 to 7 years old? Hi! So number one, hindi po ako doktor, hindi rin po ako nutritionist. And I have heard of doctors recommending vitamins for brain development of children, but I cannot advise you. Hindi po ako doktor. But if this is in connection with anything that claims to cure autism or ADHD, cure speech delay, mawawala ang tantrums ng anak ninyo, do not believe it. It sounds dubious because hindi po sakit ang autism, ganyan, ang ADHD. So if anything claims that, maging dubious kayo agad. And I also made a video about this kasi may nakikita talaga akong alarming mga resellers of a particular nutritional supplement na sinasabi nga ito. The mother company actually does not claim it. It's just these resellers na I guess nagpapa-clickbait and it's very irresponsible. Kawawa din yung mother company. But yeah, for those of you who have any questions about may mga maiinom ba para mawala ang speech delay ng anak ko, quick answer, no. And then I hope you can go to episode 67 about magic milk because I addressed that there. Okay, next. Hi, Cherry May. Ngayon lang daw siya nakanood ng live at na-skip ang question. I'm so sorry, may nagsispam kasi kanina. Pero madami po akong natutunan and I want to watch more of your videos and live. Yes, welcome to our community. And yes, this November, I promise to try to do live Libreng Konsulta every weekend kasi it is National Children's Month at diba ginagawa naman to natin lahat para sa children. So making that extra effort. But sa December, I don't think I can do it anymore. Sobrang busy po natin yan. But yes. Okay. So thank you sa pag-notice ng tanong ko kahit first time ko manood ng live mo. Guys, kung pwede ko lang talagang sagutin lahat ng tanong nyo, hindi ko po yan pinipili kung ano lang pong saan mapadpad yung mata ko kasi ang bilis tumalon. But I'm glad na nasagot ko yung tanong mo. And guys, mga bago dito, if you find this useful, please, kayo din mag-extra effort to like and follow my Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok. Why? Because kailangan niya ng algorithm. Kapag nakikita ng computer, ng mga AI yan, ay, interesado yung mga tao dito sa page na to, mas bibigyan niya tayo ng mga taong tutulungan. So guys, help me out rin. And if isa kayo sa may mga success stories, at alam ko marami diyang mga tahimik lang, nagpa-personal message sa akin na, teacher, nakatulong, okay na po yung anak ko, ganyan. Pwede rin kayong mag-leave ng review sa page ko. You can find write review and sana naman 5 stars, di ba? Huwag na kayo mag-review kapag 0 stars lang, masisira yung yung record ko. So, and then just siguro help the community by saying which tips helped you. Okay. Dami kong natutunan. Oh guys, mukhang nagbababay na kayo sa akin pero actually okay pa ako. Hindi pa ako pagod ngayon. Pero ang dami ng thank you teacher. Ay, sige. Kung baka busy kayo, makaalis na kayo. Happy Sunday na sa mga paalis. Thank you for hanging out with us and discussing. Sana marami kayong natutunan. But okay, back to these questions. Let's go. Okay. Hi, my 3-year-old daughter, possible with echolalia and hyperlexia. Our SLP told us to look at those as a strength. Question, paano po ba ang kids na may ganung problem growing up, especially in school? Okay, so I've already explained echolalia. Again, if you want to go back to that, that's episode 33 on my YouTube. Hyperlexia naman, so sa mga hindi alam, ang hyperlexia ay yung may increased interest and skill in decoding alphabet. Kaya nakakapagbasa ng maaga. Yan ang usual qualities of someone with hyperlexia. And tama po yung SLP nyo when sinabi na you can look at those as strengths because echolalia, how is that a strength? Alam mong naririnig kayo ng anak nyo. Alam mong nakakaulit siya ng ganito kahahabang mga phrases. So yes, you can use it as your strength. But like I said in my tips, it is how you make those phrases meaningful for your child. Hyperlexia especially. Now, ang problem with hyperlexia is we think, nabasa na niya yung construction site. Nagulat ka, nabasa ng bata yung phrase na construction site. Pero the problem is, it doesn't mean they understand construction site. They just learned how to decode the sounds and the symbols using, ibig sabihin nito, very good sila with pattern recognition. And so they know how to sound it out based on the rules na nakikita nila with, let's say, English language. Kaya construction site yung binasa. But it doesn't necessarily mean, and actually kalimitan nga sa may hyperlexia is very good lang ang decoding, but doesn't actually have comprehension. But how can it be a strength is that now that you can relate with the child with letters and words, you can introduce new vocabulary, not just by speaking it, but by pointing at words. So now you have 2 modes of cues that you can use with your child, and more modes that your child responds to, the better. So I hope, good luck po, sir, and I hope I can support you with other things. Next one is, I have a 2-year and 3-month-old baby and kaunti lang ang nasasabi niya na words but he can sing alphabets and numbers. Okay po, so ito na po, kanina pa naman to, this was like an hour ago pa. So I think naman that I hope that I have answered this question. This is screen perseveration. Okay, so is there an organization for speech pathologists? Is there a list of speech pathologists? Yes, guys, you can go to the Philippine Association of Speech-Language Pathologists. That's pasp.org, I think. Let me just check para hindi ako mamali. Yes, it's pasp.org.ph. And I'm not sure if they still have I'm not sure if they still have it on their website, but they used to have a directory of speech language pathologists. But I'm also going to update my website soon, where you can just click on your area, tas mahahanap nyo na, or you can search your area, tas mahahanap nyo yung speech language centers or therapists in your area. Okay guys ha, wait lang. 30 seconds. I just need the voice break. Pero promise, kaya ko pa. Wow. Ang sarap kasi ng ulam ko kanina. So, ang dami kong energy. Okay. There's this one saying na yung anak daw niya ay diagnosed with GD. Sorry kasi medyo mabilis eh. So, basta diagnosed with something, with a condition, at nag-speech therapy and OT na, ang konti pa lang daw ng nakikita niyang progress, like ngayon nakakapag-imitate na yung child ng words, pero she feels like not enough pa yung progress to report back to the developmental pediatrician, kaso time na daw niyang magpa-check up. So guys, ba't naputol? I just want to tell you guys na recommend lang naman yung DevPed na mag-follow up kayo sa kanila, because sila mismo, they will have ways of checking kung baka they might want to change direction kung ano yung treatment plan or therapy plan na gusto nilang paggawa sa bata. So they just really want to help you. But if financially, hirap kasi kayo, let's say, and you didn't say that it was finances that was your problem. You just said na you haven't seen significant improvements to report. Kaya ayaw mo pa munang pumunta. And that's fine. That's your discretion as parents. Kayo ang mas nakakaalam. But okay. How do I explain this? Guys, kung walang problem naman with finances and you can do it, go see the DevPed, because the DevPed might be able to suggest more things, kasi now that the child has more skills, baka mas may mga other things na pwedeng ipatry dun sa bata. But if finances are a problem, then yes, you can defer, but communicate with your DevPed and say, Doc, can we move it siguro mga 3 more months? But ito na yung nakikita kong mga improvements sa anak ko. So just communicate that and explain na medyo hirap pa po kasi kami ngayon. So hindi ko pa po muna ipaprioritize na makabalik. But definitely we'll set an appointment. Bahala na po kayo. Hope that helps you. Okay, next. Hi, good afternoon. My son is diagnosed with GDD, but his motor is okay, but he's still not talking, even if I teach him. But he likes to imitate, and he has therapy, and I enrolled him in play. Okay, what does he like to imitate? Because that's a good first step. So now na nag-imitate na siya, yan na yung first step nyo into imitating words. But because you said he's still not talking, I'm assuming hindi pa words, but nag-imitate pa lang ng sounds. But keep it up lang po, mommy, because ang kasunod na niyan, kapag enough na yung speech sounds na alam niya comfortably, kapag napapractice na niya, ganito pala sabihin to, magagamit na niya in words. So I'm very happy to hear about your progress. And good, yes, you enrolled him in play, kasi sobrang importante po nung play sa mga bata. Especially sa mga parents that feel like, kailangan ko lagi mag-prepare ng activities para sa anak ko, kailangan ba kami lagi mag-arts and crafts or some sensory activity. The best sensory activity is just going outside. Paglaruin nyo lang, paglaruin yung magtatakbo. Ang dami niyang matututunan about gaano siya kabilis. Kapag may naapakan siyang bato, mawawala siya sa balance. These are the small, minute things that we learn in play that we often don't give too much attention to. Pero iyan talaga yung mga kailangan matutunan ng mga baby at this age. Alright. Hi from Cavite to Tina. Thank you po sa mga tips na apply ko sa anak kong 3 years old. Very happy. Keep it up. Let's see. Hi. Pa-shout out. Hi, Michelle Miguel Pajarillo. There you go. Hi, Claire. Hi, Ruby. May nagpa-practice po ba sa Pinas na biomedical interventions and AAC? Biomedical. So, biomedical intervention as in nutrition? Biomedical. I'm not sure. Can I look up what biomedical? Baka lang I don't know the term but know the concept. Intervention. To know what you mean. But AAC, yes. And if you're looking for an AAC, sa mga hindi nakakaalam, that's augmentative or alternative communication systems for your children. Kung naghahanap po kayo for your child, you may want to consider contacting Tinig AAC. I don't know if that's tinigaac.com. Let me just look for it. Kung yun nga ba. Ay, hindi daw. Wala daw ganon. Tinig AAC. Paano ba yan hanapin? Ayun. Tinig AAC has a Facebook group. So just search the Tinig AAC or Tinig AAC project. So I hope that helps you if you're looking for an AAC. Pero ito namang biomedical interventions for autism and Asperger's syndrome is a therapeutic approach for ano to? Not meeting the guys admin due to lack with caution and person. Okay. Yeah, so I was right. It is nutrition, no? So these are the ones that are saying na nga na vitamins or probiotic diets, gluten-free or casein-free diet, chelation, medication, nung mga nakakarinig ng Nemetschek protocol. So ito pala, ang umbrella term pala niya ay biomedical intervention. So like I said, well, meron pong different schools of thought, no? But I am one of those believers that we can never remove autism with anything that the child takes or eats, or even if we change their whole diet lifestyle. But definitely if Paano ko explain? Because there are, yun din, the first article that I opened, yung binasa ko, it even said that there's no extensive research to say that it works. And so, what does this say when we do this? That you can try it at your discretion. Pero if there's not enough research or not enough case studies, ibig sabihin, hindi malaki ang documented na magsasabing it's going to work or it's going to have a significant change in your child. And sa pagkakaalam ko, yung mga gluten-free diet, casein-free diet, these things are very costly, more costly than a regular diet than if you just ask your pediatrician what is like a good, proper nutrition for my child. So yeah, I'm just not one of the believers in the nutrition-based therapies, but you are free to try it. And if you do try it and see significant positive changes with your child, go right ahead and share it with the community so that we can have a good discussion about it. Yun. But yun lang. I don't ascribe to that. Paano i-reprimand ang bata na laging sumisigaw kapag may ayaw siya and pag sinasaway siya? Okay, depende po yan kung gaano katanda na yung bata at kung ano yung comprehension level ng bata. Because shouting is a natural reaction of toddlers, babies and toddlers, because like I said kanina, kapag hindi nila ma-express yung frustration nila, it is one of the more natural, instinctive ways to express this. Minsan kahit walang words, di ba? O then express mo na, nagalit ka nagsumisigaw ka. So these usually happen with children who do not have the words to say what they do not like. But one good thing is to take note of how you also or how your household deals with frustrations. Kung madalas siyang nakakarinig ng sigawan sa bata, then yan yung namomodel sa kanya. And I'm not saying na nagsisigawan kayo because it's possible to have a screaming child even if very soft-spoken kayo dyan lahat at hindi kayo nagsisigawan. I'm just saying it's the first thing also that you want to look at is the environment of the child. Baka naman, yan yung napapansin niyang behavior, kaya yan yung nagagaya niya. Next is, tuwing nagsisigaw siya, make sure to keep it cool. Nako, ako guys, I always have to be very conscious about my reactions to screaming children. I always have to remind myself that they don't mean this to make me mad. They are not doing this on purpose. They are frustrated. So if you practice that mindset, even when they are screaming at you, say, I know, nagagalit ako. Nakakainis si mommy. Ayaw ibigay yung gusto ko. Bibigyan nyo sila ng words that they can say para next time they don't have to scream. They don't have to shout. And this will not happen one time. Hindi dahil nasabi ko na ngayon na sabihin mo na lang kasi anak, mommy, I don't like. Mommy, ayaw ko. Kapag especially may comprehension problem yung bata, meron siyang speech or language delay or disorder, it needs consistency, constant practice. Of siguro sinabi mo, ay, anak, huwag mo hawakan yan. Nagulat siya. So, syempre nagalit din siya. At that moment, sabihin mo, okay, sorry, napasigaw si mommy. Nagulat ako kasi nahahawakan mo yung kaldero. Okay, sorry, nagulat si mommy, napasigaw ako. Alam kong gusto mong hawakan yung kaldero, pero masasaktan ka. Ouch yan. Pag hawakan, ouch. Kaya wag nating hawakan. So yun, paulit-ulit lang ng mga possible words na pwedeng gamitin ng bata. If you guys have kids with other undesirable behaviors, like, kunyari kapag may binawi ka, igagrab ulit tapos mananakit. Naku, may mga batang napakabilis ng mga reflexes, ano? Ang dami kong mga kids na, kunyari, may pinapaulit akong word sa kanila, pero galit na sila. Tatapikin yung bibig ko. Kailangan mabilis ang reflexes. So if you have other kids with other behaviors na ganito, pushing, shouting, screaming, kicking, lying down on the floor, yan. I have an episode on managing undesirable behaviors, episode 23, which usually, ang summary ko niyang episode na yan is really finding better replacements for the behavior. They don't want to do it. They would do better if they knew how to do better. So, yeah, I hope that helps you. I know it sounds easier said than done, and I struggle with this myself, especially at hindi ko naman talaga mga anak yung mga tinetherapy ko, di ba? Mas grabe kailangan yung pagtitimpi ko, but you guys love your children even more than I do, and if I can control my temper with children that are not mine, I am sure you can control your temper with your children. Okay, hanap tayo ng hindi ko pa na ano. Paano ko malalaman kung may tongue tie po ang isang bata? Ang anak ko po kasi ay 8 years old na kaso may speech delay po siya. Salamat po. Okay, first, there's two things I want to address dito sa tanong na to. Malalaman nyo kung tongue-tied kapag ipalift nyo yung dila ng bata. Nakikita nyo tong tissue na to? This is called our lingual frenulum. Tongue-tied ang bata kapag umaabot hanggang dito yung frenulum and therefore nakadikit. Kasi the frenulum keeps our tongue rooted to the floor of our mouth. Nagkakabit. Kung hanggang dito yung frenulum niya or anywhere that causes a mobility issue of your tongue. Ibig sabihin, hindi makagalaw ng maayos or to its full range of motion yung dila that is necessary for speech or eating, then may tongue-tie yung bata. What are the options for tongue-tie? Meron na pong mabibilis na laser procedures. Ano lang daw yan? Outpatient, 30-minute procedure para makat yun. Of course, that will have downtime, mag-heal yun. But yeah, usually, kapag yun lang yung problema, at mapa-therapy yung bata to relearn because at 8 years old, kung tongue-tie siya, tas ngayon pa lang niya kailangan i-relearn yung mga ways na sinasabi niya yung sounds before, kailangan po niyang mag-therapy for speech. And then, also want to clarify na hindi lahat ng tongue-tie ay nakakapag-cause ng speech delay. Because sometimes nakakagawa ng compensatory technique yung mga bata or yung mga tao. What does it mean? What is a compensatory technique? Is kahit na hanggang dito lang yung dila nila, natututunan nila na hindi na lang nila masyadong ibababa yung hindi na lang nila masyadong lalakihan yung bukas ng bibig para naaabot ng dila nila yung mga, let's say, for linguodental sounds or kailangan i-touch ng dila yung upper set of teeth. So kapag nakadikit, imbis na ganito nila sabihin, love, isasara na lang nila yung bibig nila. Love. Para konti lang yung igagalaw. So again, not all tongue-tie will affect speech-language delay. Another thing that I want to address here is 8 years old na po yung bata. So speech delay may not be na the problem. Kasi usually a delay means nahuhuli lang yung pag-learn niya of the skill na nawawala. But dahil medyo malaki na siya at hindi pa niya na-learn ito, baka po speech disorder na to because something is causing the speech to be wrong. And I also want to ask kasi speech delay lang yung nasabi nyo, but do you also mean a language delay? How is this different? Speech is just the talking output of our expressive language. Language or communication is everything. Nakakapaghingi ba yung bata? Because pwede kang makahingi nang hindi ka nagsasalita. So speech is just the output of our communication, talking output. Yeah. If yung bata ay hindi pa din nakakapag, let's say, communicate sa inyo verbally in other sounds that don't really require the tongue. For example, hindi niyan kailangan ng tongue. This is a bilabial. Kung hindi rin siya gumagawa ng mga sounds na to at 8 years old na siya, speech disorder na po to, and I hope that you can ask for help from a professional. You're an eye-opener to a parent like me. Thanks for all the tips. We stopped the habit of watching. It works for my 1 year and 4 months since we stopped doing it, and he listens to us more and is more attentive, and we are talking and making phonics now. Keep it up, mommy. See? Oh, I'm so happy. Narinig niyo yun, guys. Yes po. Yan po ang nagagawa ng screen rehab. Good job. All right. Kung ang anak ko ay may ASD, may pag-asa po ba na maging normal sa future? Okay, so again, these are just one of the terms na katulad lang ito din ang sinabi ko na dahil hindi sakit ang ASD, hindi po siya mawawala or hindi siya gagaling. And in the same way, hindi po siya magiging normal, but normal is debatable now because ibig sabihin lang ng normal ay yung nakasanayan natin, ano? But there are other ways for them to function in the world without doing it in the same way that we do. So that's why they are called neurodivergent. Ibig sabihin lang yan is the way that they think and process is not the same way that we neurotypicals do it, but they can still function to their fullest. So, yeah, I just want to clarify na their autism will not go away. If that answers your question, yung mga characteristics ng autism nila, kunwari, yung mga pag-uulit-ulit nila ng certain behaviors, maaaring mabawasan pero hindi mawawala. And I also wanna bring up the topic of autistic masking. So kung meron tayong mga lumalaki ng mga may autism dito sa community natin, we have to be very careful about making the autistics behave like us. Behave normal. Meaning, wag mo kasing mag-hand flap kapag masaya ka kasi nakakatawang tingnan. Kung hindi naman nakakasakit sa iba, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's really society needs to catch up with what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, di ba? And kung hindi naman nakakasakit, we should just let them do it and not force autistics to stop doing what makes them feel regulated or what makes them feel calm. Why? Because there is now a thing called autistic masking or passing or ano pa bang mga words, camouflaging. These are terms that um, I've learned in the recent years na yung mga batang lagi nating sinasabihan ng, quiet hands ka lang quiet hands, wag mo galawin yung kamay mo, wag mong i-flap. They're trying so hard na nga to process stimulation from the world at try pa nila hard to say, okay, pipigilan ko yung hand flapping na sobrang natural sa akin. And imagine if there is something that is very natural to you, like the way that you fix your hair when you want to fix your hair. Kasi naiinis ka kapag nakakaramdam ka ng hair sa noo mo. So, aayusin mo siya. Imagine kung may magpigil sa akin, Teacher K, stop fixing your hair. Nakakairitang tingnan Then I have to always stop myself kahit iritang-irita na ako. I'm so uncomfortable. And then I try to change my behaviors for other people that will make me repress my own needs and therefore nagkaka-masking or passing. At anong nagiging effect nito on autistics? A lot of them develop anxiety disorders and depression, clinical depression. So remember that your children will not be children forever. They will grow up to be autistic adults, and autistic adults that we will have to find the balance of knowing what's good for them and helping them find also their own independence in this world and what they can do for themselves. And I know that this is a more complicated discussion kapag very significant yung needs ng ibang autistics, especially yung mga may level 3 needs, yung mga ibig sabihin nun, kailangan halos lahat ng tasks nila ay ina-assist sila. So it's really finding the balance of helping them and letting them learn how to be more independent also. Guys, and I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad na hindi nga kaya ng anak ko. I know. Iba-iba talaga yung mga levels of autism. That's why it's a spectrum. But I guess the first step is us being aware that they have needs too, and they have wants too. Just because they can't say it doesn't mean that they don't want for other things. So let's also try to keep that in mind, that your children are people first, and we just want what's best for them. Okay. Hi, may nagtatanong kung saan ang clinic at contact number ko. Sorry, I don't give my contact number, but you can search for Kids in Motion Therapy Center. They also have a website. Let's see, kidsinmotiontherapycenter.com po. That's a clinic in a center in BGC. Ang building po namin ay Bonifacio Prime. But actually, medyo puno na yung slots ko doon. May mga nag-move away lang akong mga pasyente, pero napuno na rin yun agad kasi may waitlist po ako. But if you just want a consult, yeah, sure. Just try po to get in touch with the clinic. But mas mabuti po, Mommy, kung makahanap kayo ng center na malapit sa inyo. Believe me, hindi ako ang pinakamagaling na SP. Mas magagaling na speech therapist sa akin. And the first thing you can try is finding one in your area. Napunta lang po ako dito is because ako yung may advocacy na makapag-reach out sa mga taong sakaling hirap sa pinansyal, hindi makakuha ng therapy. And that's why, at madaldal ako. And I happen to be confident enough to have a social media page. But I promise you, sobrang maraming ibang mas magaling na speech therapist dyan. Please try to find one in your area. Bakit kailangan malapit? Because kapag malapit sa inyo, mas mataas ang chance na magiging consistent kayo with your schedule and your attendance and your punctuality. Hindi kayo na-delate, hindi nasasayang ang time, etc. etc. At pwede kayong mabisita. Minsan, you can also request your therapist to do home visits where, teacher, tingnan mo kasi ganito kami sa bahay. Ganito yung posisyon ng toys namin, ganito yung ganyan-ganyan. The speech therapist can advise you what are the things that you might need to change or modify sa bahay ninyo para mas maging conducive for learning for your child. And that's why I also offer household coaching. Hindi ito regular. As in, I will meet you. I mean, online. I have online household coaching. I will meet you. I will listen to your descriptions of your house. Pwede nung mga online, pinapakita nila sa akin mismo sa video kung ganito po yung setup namin, and then I advise them what they can do better. Okay. Anak ko 5 years old, madaldal po siya, nag-aaral na din sa kinder. Wow! Pero pag nagsasalita siya, madalas yung letter B nagiging D. Tapos yung letter H nagiging W. Tsaka di po siya gumagamit ng mga at. So, okay. So you described two problems. One is a speech sound problem where yung B nagiging D. And that's because sometimes it's confusing sa tenga kung ano ang difference ng B tsaka D. Very similar, ano? At yung, so for that one, I want you to look at my episode on bulol. Actually, nagawa mo na yung steps, no? You found the sounds that are missing, but yung episode ko on bulol also tells you kasi what are the cues that you can use. So for this one, dahil 5 years old na siya at nag-school na siya, so I'm assuming lang na intindi ng instructions. So, kapag kailangan bola yung sinasabi at nasasabi niyang dola, sabihin mo, kailangan nakasara yung bibig. Bola. Then you can remind them with visual cues. Bola. Okay. Or, you can also do this in the mirror para makita niya. Tingnan mo sasabihin ko yung bola. Bola. Ito yung sinasabi mo. Dola. Magkaiba yung itsura, di ba? So you're both facing the mirror. Nakikita niya yung ginagawa mo. Then mariredirect niya yung gaze niya sa sarili niya and see, oo nga no. Iba nga yung ginagawa ko sa bibig ko. So first step is the awareness of their mouth. Sometimes they're just not aware na, sounds alike lang pala, pero they're made in very different positions. And then, yung L na nagiging W, for example, wawo tayo, laro, 'di ba? Nagiging wu. This is called gliding. And it's possible na hindi lang niya, nakasanayan lang niya, mas madali sa kanya na gawin yung wu. Kasi yan lang i-round mo lang yung lips mo. As opposed to iaakyat pa niya yung tongue niya. Laro. But, because nakakasabi siya ng the na sound, dapat anatomically, masasabi rin niya nung because they're in almost the same position. So I think now the problem is just the awareness of your child kung paano niya ginagawa. So do mirror work together to make your child aware of the different parts that need to move and kung saan dapat nagta-touch pag sinasabi niya yung sounds na yon. And then, practice with all the words that nakikita niya when you're playing. Ganyan. Ibig sabihin mo, laro. Okay. Hope that helps you. Okay, this one is about paano mabawasan ang side glancing stim ng bata. So we have I've seen two theories of kung bakit ginagawa tong side glancing stim. One theory is it's a visual stim. Gusto nila the way that they see things from here daw. But there's another one that medyo mas feel ko yun yung reason kung bakit nagsa-side glance. Try niyong gawin. Pag may tinitingnan ka sa gilid, 'di ba? Kapag gawin mo ng matagal, nakakahilo, 'di ba? Ako nahihilo ako. That tells me that it has something to do with our balance in space. And this is our vestibular sense. Ibig sabihin, nagsisik yung bata ng more movement in space. Paano mabawasan? You can add more physical activities to your daily routine. That is, sa umaga, find out gaano kadalas kailangan gawin ng bata. So you experiment, you can start with morning lang. Pag nakita niyong kulang, by afternoon, gumaganyan na naman. Hapon ulit, mag-physical activity kayo. This can be as simple as magjo-jogging-jogging kayo sa labas or trampoline, maglaro kayo sa playground para nakakapag-siso, yan, mga vestibular things, or swinging. So if you include a lot of vestibular activities for your child, there's a big possibility na mabawasan yung side glancing stims. Yun. I hope that you can experiment with what will work for your child. Because like I said, yung punot dulo naman yan is you just need to address the need. Okay, another question here is yung sinasabing verbal stimming, kapag inuulit-ulit, sinasabi nila dapat hindi daw tinitigil ang sinasabi. Yes, I agree. Especially if hindi ganun ka-disruptive. Of course, the factors include if if yung stimming is actually, ibig sabihin nun ay sobrang kailangan nila ng sensory stimulation, kaya nagsistim sila ng system. So what we can do, instead of forcefully trying, quiet, hindi lang kasi ganun na pinapatigil mo sila. Find what it is that will help them decrease the need to do it. So, when they say na wag nyo kasing itigil, yes, I agree. Let them do it until they feel regulated. But the considerations are, nasaan ba? Siyempre naman, kapag nasa simbahan at nagsistem, hindi nyo makokontrol yung simbahan at makakadisrupt din kayo sa simbahan. So what you can do kapag biglang nag-stem yung anak nyo, step out with your child and let them stem outside. So it's really finding a balance between until society can really learn to function more with our neurodivergent brothers and sisters, we find ways to remove them from the situation that is possibly making them uncomfortable and help them regulate themselves. Yeah. Uy! Nagulat ako! Guys, may nagpadala ng super sticker sa YouTube ko! Yay! That's my first one! So, sa lahat ng mga, I know guys, I'm doing this for free and I'm not asking you guys for anything in return, but of course, it feels nice to receive token donations from you, and maybe eventually, kapag naparami tayo ng donation, ay let's say, assessment drive. Like maybe I'll do mission trips and try to reach our kababayan na walang access sa speech therapy. But thank you so much for your donation. All right. Next. Hello po. Uy, tumatalo na naman. Ay, sinong nagsusulat ng madami dyan? Char. Uy. Okay. Nasagot ko na yun eh. Nasagot ko na yan, guys. Huwag pa ulit-ulit. Sure. I know that I'm reading it lagged, so hindi naman ako galit. Thanks. First time to watch your live. I will definitely watch your vids. Thank you, Ange. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's look for one here. Watching from Dubai. Hi, Judy. I'm working in a school and I'd like to thank you for helping me understand more their behavior. Ah, you're welcome. I'm glad nakatulong. My son is 5 years old but can't speak a whole sentence. Only last word. Do you mean end gesture or only the last word? Yung gesture. Okay. How can I help you with this one? You can try I explained this kanina where you can try the technique called extension or expansion where yung last word na nasasabi niya, dadagdagan lang natin. So, let's not expect a whole sentence if we can see na nahihirapan siya at laging last word lang nasasabi niya. Ibig sabihin siguro ang nadadalian siya is single words at this point. So instead of jumping straight to let's expect a sentence, let's expect two-word combinations muna. And how you can do this is by practicing the extension and expansion technique. That's episode 30 on my YouTube channel, but I also gave a demo na kanina, which is, for example, ang nasabi niyang last word ay kunyari, ang gusto niyang sabihin ay, gusto ko ng milk. Pero ang sabi lang niya, last word, so milk lang. So, ikaw na ang magsabi, gusto ko ng milk. Milk pa more, please. Or something like that. Milk more? More milk? Okay, give kita more milk. Yan. Okay, I hope that helps you. Okay. Hello, Abigail. 8 years old yung alaga ko dito sa Kuwait. May autism and delayed speech. Pero ang galing niya pong i-memorize yung mga kinakanta ko sa kanya. Paano ko po kaya matutulungan makapagsalita? Good eyesight also. Okay. Okay, that's good. So natututunan niya yung kinakanta mo. So it seems like music is a good medium for the child. So what you can do is try to sing songs, at gumawa ka ng ibang mga script or meaningful phrases na magagamit ng bata. So for example, gusto mong maturuan siyang humingi ng water. At alam mong nagagawa niya kapag kinakanta niya, pwede mong sabihin, I want water. So every time humihingi siya ng water, I want water. I want water. And the hope is matutunan niya itong sing-song version of your phrase and magagamit niya meaningfully eventually. All right. Guys, we have a DevPed here in our discussion today. It's Dr. Marizel Dacumos. I'm a developmental pediatrician. Guys, sa mga naghahanap ng DevPed, here's your chance. Ayan, I message nyo si Doc. I'm a big fan and I'm learning a lot from you. Thank you for your advocacy to help the community. God bless you as you continue to help the parents of our special children. Thank you, Doc, for dropping by. And I hope na marami tayong matulungan together. Sana ma-meet ko lahat ng mga nakikilala kong ibang content creators dito ng mga DevPed or mga Pedia. So yeah, thanks for being in our community po and let us know how I can help you with other stuff. My son has level 3 ASD and GDD, 2 years and 4 months. Kailangan bang isang language lang ituro sa kanya? Say English only or okay lang na English and Tagalog? Please ignore my YouTube question if mauna ito. No problem. Okay, so another super frequently asked question is, naguguluhan ba yung mga bata kapag kinakausap sila in more than one language? What do you guys think? Yes, naguguluhan sila? Ang multilingualism or bilingualism ba ang nagkukos ng speech delay? What you think? 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 No! Okay, so hindi po. Actually, studies show that ang bilingualism helps children learn language faster. It also develops their brain because they develop better also thought organization, their better organization of their lexicon, and other skills that are related with bilingualism. I made an episode on multilingualism or bilingualism in episode what is it? Episode 71. So I hope you go there for the longer explanation, but quick answer lang. For you, no, it is not causing your speech delay. And yes, they will learn the language or the languages that you use at home naturally. Huwag niyong pilitin ang English kung hindi naman English kayo magsalita sa bahay or sa community niyo. Kasi paglaki niyang batang yan at pinipilit niyong English pero mamaya hirap na hirap kayo mag-English, hindi functional yung magiging communication niyo. Plus, posibleng ma-alienate yung bata kapag yung mga kalaro niya ay sa labas ay Tagalog tapos siya lang nag-i-English. Ito pa namang sa Pilipinas ay ang sasama ng mga tingin sa mga nag-i-English. Ayoko dyan, Inglesero yan. O, di ba? Aminin nyo, may mga ganyan kayong naririnig. Nabubuli ako dati dahil nag-i-English ako. Wow, baliktad. Hindi, pero totoo ha. So, yeah. What is more meaningful is kapag gamitin nyo yung language na natural sa inyo. Because kung ano yung gamitin yung word for milk ba yan or gatas, kung yun ang gamitin, hindi naman niya pipiliin ay mas gusto kong sabihin yung milk. 'Di ba? Kung ano yung word na gagamitin nyo, yun yung matututunan niya. Kahit mix-mix yan lahat. Maaari din yung matutunan both English and Tagalog because ganun So it really depends on the language acquisition capacities of the child. But do not stop yourself. Do not choose one language. Use your natural languages at home. Alrighty then. Alrighty. Oh, selected comment isn't available. Nagbura ata ng comment. I'm so sorry. Yung anak ko turning 5 years old, wala pa siyang nabibigkas na salita, pero minsan marunong makaintindi anong dapat gawin. Super broad po nung tanong, and everything that I've been talking about here will help your child. So, first, I want you to start with having them imitate more sounds first, speech sounds. You can look at episode 5 on exploring kung paano dumami yung mga nasasabi nilang speech sounds. And also check their hearing. That is episode... ang tagal. Episode 46, ang unang gusto nating malaman is, naririnig ka ba ng anak mo? Baka kaya hindi siya nagsasalita or nagme-make ng sounds is dahil kulang pala yung naririnig niya. So, you need to check that first. And episode 46 will show you how you can try to check your child's hearing at home first. And kapag sa tingin nyo, shucks, parang hindi nga talaga ako naririnig with this home test, kailangan nyo nang pumunta ng Pedia ENT para mapatingin nga talaga, ENT, ng OPTHA, para mapatingin yung, OPTHA, ano ba yan, mata, ng, tama ako ng ENT, punta kayo ng Pedia guys, pagod na yung processing ng brain ko, okay, nagsa-slow down na. So I think this is a sign for me to end this today. But yeah, magpa-check po muna ng hearing. And then after that, lahat po ng episodes ko, episode 4 on commentary, i-practice nyo po yan araw-araw, gabi-gabi, every waking moment as language stimulation for your child. And then practice nyo na rin po yung episodes 8 and 8.1 para malaman nyo baka naman walang opportunity or enough obstacles for your child, or what I mean by obstacle is a challenge for your child to learn how to communicate. So sobrang daming factors, ang broad po kasi ng 5 years old na siya at hindi siya makapagsalita, anong pwedeng gawin. So everything on my YouTube channel will tell you kung anong pwedeng gawin. I hope that you can subscribe. And yeah, I think I'll wrap up na, guys. Sorry, I think napapagod na yung brain ko. Ang bagal ng kumilos eh. First time, Mira Rabi na Oh my gosh, hindi ko mabasa. But I think because it's Japanese and I'm trying to learn Japanese pero hirap talaga ako pa mag-read. First time here and I really like your content. Very informative. Thank you very much. Bilingualism helped my child with autism. He can read Japanese characters, can communicate in English, and can understand Hiligay non. He can enjoy public school in the Philippines and the company of his cousins who can speak our dialect. That's such an interesting story. Thank you for sharing and thank you for being here. And sana marami tayong matutunan from each other. I also love learning from you guys. Um, all right. So, guys, one last from YouTube. Hi, I'm always watching your YouTube channel. I really love how you explain behavioral patterns of kiddos. You are helping a lot of moms. More power and God bless. Thank you, Miss MJ. Watching from Kuwait, si Abigail. Mm, okay. Teacher K, my son is 20 months old. No words pa din. Not trying to imitate gestures din po. Okay, first thing I want you to try to do is to target instead of yung words and gestures agad are the precursory skills. Ano ibig sabihin ng precursory? Before they learn how to even communicate with gestures or before they can even learn how to communicate with words, dapat meron silang certain skills in place. For example, yung joint attention. So how do we develop joint attention? Meron po akong episode on that. Attention. San ba yan? Meron tayo sa Responding to Name, Eye Contact, episode 27. But there's also Improving Attention, episode 50. So, ang gusto mo talaga, mommy, is to start playing first. So, maglaro ka muna ng mga toys and preferably a lot of toys nakakapag-make muna ng sounds like squeaky toys para kapag ganyanin mo, mapapatingin siya. Kapag mapatingin siya, alam mo, nung hawak ko ay tinitingnan niya, that is one of the first signs na makakapag-joint attention nung anak nyo sa inyo. So, sobrang importante po ng joint attention para makita natin na, naririnig pala niya yung sinasabi ko. Nakakatingin pala siya dun sa sinasabi kong, oh, look at this. So, pareho kayo ng tinitingnan. So, these are some of the precursory skills that come before expecting them to speak or to communicate even by gestures. So again, everybody, I'm Teacher K. I'm a certified speech-language pathologist. Medyo napagod na po actually ako. So sorry. But I'll be back next week kung meron po akong free time. So for the whole month of November po, maglilibreng konsulta tayo around sometime in the weekend. And I hope to answer the questions na hindi ko na nasagot today. Kung hindi pa po kayo nagla-like and follow, magkaiba po kasi yun dito sa Facebook. Merong like, merong follow. Gawin nyo na po both, please. On Instagram, follow also and on TikTok, but most importantly sa YouTube ko, mag-subscribe po kayo and turn on notifications so you can see all the information that I'm sharing with you guys. Please share this if you find it helpful, and I hope you all have a restful rest of the afternoon. And Teacher K Talks. Happy talking and mabuhay! Bye YouTube! Bye Facebook!